Now we got a bunch of people entering. So while we're waiting, how many people stayed around for the concert on Monday? I know you did, Ray.
Charlie Baum was there,
I saw him in the video. Yeah.
and Joe Finetti stayed in town, but was pretty darn sick. Like, he could
Oh
hardly talk.
no. Oh, we overworked him. That's too bad.
Well, so it was really. Oh, and then there was a young guy, Jason, very recent, very recent alum, who just, I guess he just graduated in December. So he came, and otherwise it was just current members, and so I had been I had been asked to sing baritone. Which was fine. So I kind of worked on the baritone parts, but when I got there, it turned out that Griffin, who's their second tenor, couldn't be there, and Valentina couldn't be there. So they had no. The only second tenor they had was Jonas, who just joined in January. So Charlie sang second, and I sang second, which I will say was delightful. I had no idea how good the second tenor parts are. It's really
Stand by. I'm moving to a new room on in a minute.
What happened to those YRC members that they couldn't make it at the last minute?
I don't know. I'm sure it was a good reason. um, and then I knew like there were a couple of baritones who we knew from the beginning weren't going to be able to make the tour. Andre was somewhere in Europe trying to work on his summer internship or interviewing or something. But anyway, I thought that the concert went quite well. We can wait for we can wait for Lewis's comments on the sound, but in the room at the time, it sounded much better than I expected. I thought it was going to be a total disaster. And as is often has often been the case with the YRC, what looked like a total disaster turned out okay. And the audience was very, very enthusiastic. They were very, very happy to have us there singing Russian music, and they just loved it. So what remains to be seen is, because all they did, they just passed the hat, after the show, and remains to be seen how appreciative the audience really was.
I gather from what you said this morning that at least they didn't step on any landmines.
No, that's right. That's right. There was a representative from the Russian embassy, and he stayed, very much onto the cultural exchange pathway. And actually, during there was quite a long reception afterwards with some bubbly and some food. So in the court, we sang Shankar-Vanaki in during the reception, and that was very well received. Of course, everybody kind of knew it. I mean, the audience, they would have heard it before. So, yeah, no, it was very nice. It was very nice, and there was no hint of any of the tensions. So, as I said this morning, we're just hoping that. So the Russian Cultural Center, of course, did post on Facebook that the YRC had been there, and they actually they asked me for the video of the concert, which I have not given them as yet, but
Yeah, we have to be careful about that.
yeah,
So the Russian Cultural Center is under the aegis of the Russian Foreign Ministry, and we
yeah.
don't want to give the impression that we are sponsored by the Russian government. So, but anyway, yeah. Thank you for capturing that video of that concert and of the rehearsals in Washington.
Well,
And
I'm sorry I missed so many of them, but
well, we got a lot. Let's
good. Yeah,
focus on what we got, which was good. And as far as the concert at the Russian Cultural Center, we will probably we'll probably post some of that on YouTube, but we will simply say it was in Washington D.C. We don't want to
yeah.
say that it is at the Russian Cultural Center because it would likely get reposted and be who knows.
Well,
But
I
anyway,
mean,
great weekend, guys. How many on this call were not in Washington for the weekend? I know, John, you were not. A couple of you of those. Okay. Well, so you are in luck because we did record a lot of the rehearsals or rehearsals of a lot of the pieces. If you look in the chat, you will see a Word file that I uploaded that lists the recordings that we have and how many of them I have posted to YouTube so far. I've got most of them posted to YouTube. It's a slow process uploading all of this video. When they're all uploaded, I'll send an email around with all the links. But already we've got most of it there. And certainly those of you who were not in Washington, it really would be a good idea, in particular for you to listen to the Georgian and Armenian rehearsals, because we covered a lot of good ground there. And I think that was very valuable.
Louis, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing anything in the chat.
So it's a file called St. John's Recording.
Okay.
Let me post it again.
Or I'll, if you send it, whenever you send the links by email is fine.
I have it open right now, by the
Yeah.
way, and I'm not very technically adept.
Okay. All right. I'll fiddle with it somehow. I
Okay.
don't know what the problem is. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, there it is. Got it.
So,
Yep.
there it is.
so Steve, I was thinking, first of all, we did update a few. I updated several of the scores based upon the discussion that we had in Washington, so we can go through those. We did record tādi in Washington, which was good. If it's okay, Steve, I'd like to correct a couple things in the pronunciation of tādi, and then we could sort of go through the list and sort of talk about whatever we want to talk about in the repertoire. How does that sound to you? Okay, good. All right, so let me share my screen. First of all, I will say that the recording of tādi that we did, it was the best Latvian that I've ever heard the group singing. So we're making good progress in singing Latvian as opposed to Latvian with a Russian accent or an American accent. But still, there were a couple things that we could improve. I wanted to take a minute and play for you a Latvian recording and then I can point out to you the difference with what we are singing. So have a listen.
tādi, kas djiedāja besaulītes vakarā. Tie ir visi barabarni, bargu kungu klausītāji. Tie ir visi barabarni, bargu kungu klausītāji.
Did you hear how he pronounced the word Barni? It's written as an A, but it really is more like an A sound. If we look at the score for just a minute, you'll see. So the top line is the phonetic realization, and you see where on measure 6, wherever you see an AE merged together, that's the ah sound that you just heard. Otherwise, it was pretty good. But I do encourage you to go back and look at the score and those words that have that sound. That includes Barni, that includes Palavmaizi, Martzadam. There are a few of those words that we have historically mispronounced. If we can get that right, then I think we will have mastered it. Everything else on our recording sounded pretty darn good. Any questions about that?
I noticed with those IEs that it was more like a tia and a zia than a yeah and a zia.
That is true. So in Latvian, each vowel is pronounced. So it's tie ir visi, kas tādi, kas djiedāja. There are two distinct vowels there. That's something to note as well. Good point, Richard.
Yes, just to emphasize that Barni, my folk wisdom was we pronounced it Berni in my day incorrectly, and just wanted to highlight.
So I'm asking you to change that. That
Yeah.
is correct. Yes. Another change that people got on the recording is the N with a comma under it, as in avotinha. That's a ny sound. In my day, we pronounced that avotina, and that's wrong. It's avotinha. And in the recording, people are pretty good at doing it right. I think the campus chorus is learning the sounds pretty well now, so you can follow them pretty well. Okay, so Steve, shall we just go through the hit parade? How would you like to go?
We can do that. I mean, there are the handful of songs that we didn't get to in DC.
Right.
On the other hand, a lot of them are familiar.
Let me do this, Steve. Let me just go through. I'll note the scores which have changed and what changed, so you know what to look for. And then, we can go through the ones that we did not cover in DC. So, first one, Aslanuri Mlavajamieri. We found an error in the first tenor part in measure 14. That is now corrected. So be sure you get the right, first tenors, be sure you get the right version. Just passing through here.
Lewis,
And,
could you
I'm
repeat
sorry,
that? I was looking
like-
for the. I was looking for it and I couldn't find the. I've just found the text. Where was the error in the first tenor part?
It actually isn't. It's in both times. So, measure 14. Can you play an E flat there, Steve?
Oh, I've got it. The tie is not supposed to be there, right?
It says ah. That's the way it should go. In the old uncorrected version, it was EED. Now it's EDD in that measure. You see?
Oh yeah.
Remember we talked about that in rehearsal, and it happens one other place too. So that's the change there. Just get the current score and you'll be good. Blagoslovi changed, and it's the only change, Steve. You noticed that in one place it said light voices instead of bright voices, so that's now fixed. Blažen Mush, we did not go through. Blasomoim was fine. Gorani was fine. High Barbary. Oh, High Barbary, we made the decision. We're going to learn that on the bus on the way to Armenia. So that's a good traveling song. So be prepared to work on that. Let's see, the next one. Oh, Hoi Nazan Im. I found an error in the translation sheet at the end. So you should get that in order to get the latest translation. The music itself has not changed. Let's see, there are a few others. Just bear with me as I skim through. Lila, we found a couple small nits to pick in Washington, so I published a new version of that. Be sure you get the latest Lila. Also, when you get that, you'll get the translation page at the end. So you'll know something about what this song is about. Let's see. Neseti Jema we did not do.
I should just say that's what the song is about according to some people.
It's folk, so there are different folk traditions. It is what it is. Simple gifts. So if you look in the folder, you will find a TBB version and an SATB version. We did not go through the SATB version, but we should have that handy in case we sing with a mixed choir in the Caucasus. Same is true for Steal Away. We got there's an SATB version in there. Surp. There, get the latest version of that. There was a minor correction. I'm not going to go into this now. I'm in an upcoming week. I'd like to dive into the Armenian stuff once more, so we can go through it then. But just be aware there is a new version of that up on the website. We shall come. Yep, those are the changes.
Is there a way I can make a request next time there are changes that we put a revision date on the score, so it's easier to figure?
All the new ones have revision dates,
Oh, okay.
so you should be
Excellent.
fine there. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
Steve, we don't have to do it at now, but at some point I have a suggestion of what we could do with "We Shall Overcome." Whenever you want to have a look at that.
Yeah. I think you put that in an email at one point, but
Well,
Lewis.
I said vaguely, yeah. So the "We Shall Overcome" score is in the folder, and so in a nutshell, we're going to learn the choral arrangement to verse 2. Verse 1 right now is all just one piece, but Steve, I have some suggestions of how we can gradually add the harmony parts to that. Basically, add the tenor, descant, and then go into TTTB halfway through. But we can go through that
Right. And
later.
excuse me. And our thought, excuse me. Our thought is that this is not a concert piece. This is for receptions and street singing and impromptu stuff.
Right.
So the idea is that we're able to, at the drop of a hat, harmonize on "We Shall Overcome."
Mm-hmm.
And I might also find a good key and a harmonization for something like "Amazing Grace."
Oh, that would
and,
be great.
and,
Mm-hmm.
and
That would be
circulate
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it'll be good to have some sort of universally uplifting,
Mm-hmm.
social justice type things that
Yeah.
people would recognize and maybe know.
Mm-hmm.
And things even that the rest of our entourage can join in on.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm so sorry. I'm so handicapped by suddenly having a laptop that
Yeah.
won't let this microphone pick up the piano. I'll try to get that figured out for subsequent
We'll get it worked
meetings.
out. Mark, you had a comment?
I did. Hello, first of all. Hey, I'm one of the Cartula ensemble guys that kind of got invited to come along on this.
Oh,
And
good.
I have a question. The last time I saw the Yale Russian Chorus, it seemed you guys do a lot of things by memory. Is this the sort of thing where you don't really want music folders on stage?
We want to we wean people off sheets, but if you have to bring them on stage, that's okay. Don't worry about it. And
We're-
especially new stuff, and a lot of this is going to be new to you. So be comfortable with what you do.
And Mark, you will not be alone.
Yeah, what's going to happen with this tour, Mark, is that I would say most singers will probably have a third of the repertoire from memory, and it'll be a different third for each individual singer. So everybody is going to have some kind of folder with some kind of music or cheat sheet for half to 2/3 of the program. So if you're up there with music, printed music for everything, nobody's going to really notice because somebody will be looking at something for
Yeah,
every
you'll
song.
be in good
So
company.
some kind of black folder
Good.
or a device, whatever works for
or a
you.
tablet. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're one of those youngsters who knows how to use those tablets, those fancy devices.
I just printed all of it, and it seems like a lot of music. Is this music that was sent by Lewis? Is this just for the tour? Does this include stateside YRC concerts coming up?
Well,
No, that's the tour.
Whoa!
make sure that you are looking at the tour folder. Some people make a wrong turn in the tour materials and then end up in the entire archive, which has got like hundreds of stuff. that's not where you want to be.
I did it in a folder about this size, if you can
Yeah.
see. I'm trying to get it in focus here.
Yeah, I got it. I printed
yeah.
the right one.
About an inch less than.
It's
Yeah.
it's about 30 songs, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's right, or
Yeah.
33 plus or minus,
Yeah.
yeah. Which
So it's a lot of them are short
Yeah.
and fast. So
There's some interesting material, like "Oh, You Mountain Girl" or something like that. It's interesting.
yeah. So, and I'm guessing Mark, you're more familiar with the Georgian music than with the Armenian music, right?
Yeah, the Georgian I'll pick up again quickly. I'm doing quite a bit of singing, so I should be okay.
Yeah.
But this is my first time to tune in on these rehearsals, so I'll listen as much.
Well, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
we've already mastered it all, Mark. So you'll just blend right in.
Yeah. I guess I should also add, Mark, that I think like half of the singers in this group are second tenors, but many have volunteered to move down to baritone or bass, which means that they're learning new parts, and that's a challenge as far as memorization. Like I switch from second tenor to bass, so I sometimes end up singing second tenor down an octave by mistake. It happens.
Well,
But any rate, we'll manage.
would you? I mean, since I'm going to be looking at this quite newly, do you want me to just look at baritone instead of second tenor? Because that's what I am.
You are which?
I was.
How about first tenor?
Yeah, I could look at the ones where if I think I can get away with first tenor, I could indicate that on the music, and I'll just look at it that way.
Well, the on the spirituals,
Yeah.
some of the arranged American folk stuff, a lot of it's three parts, so the tenors are together.
Mm.
But if you want to look at first tenor on the spirituals, that could be fun.
Okay.
And then on the I don't know. Let me think about it.
Based on what I heard in the recordings in Washington, we could use more first tenor sound.
Okay.
I think on basses were okay at the present time. Enough people have made the shift that the bass sounds is pretty well covered.
Okay.
I think especially and a lot of like on the sacred stuff, especially the soft singing, you can blend in the head voice falsetto. I think the first tenor might be useful.
I will. Yeah. I'll look them over, and anything I think I can get away with on first tenor, I'll make a note of that.
Yeah.
Oh.
God willing.
All right. So while we're here's something that we can do, and since Steve's machine is giving him a little bit of difficulty, I found a recording of Hoy Nazan Im, and I posted a link into the study materials. I'm also going to pop it in the chat so that you can be sure to find it. But it is a record. What you'll see that is a group that sings it, and they are doing hand gestures along the way to depict what they're singing. So if you have learned the text and the meaning well, you should be able to follow along, not both what they're singing and what they're gesturing. If you're having trouble figuring out what the gestures mean, then you should go back and look at the lyrics some more and the translation to get familiar with that. But I think that would be actually, it's a good mnemonic to really sort of understand what this song is about. So let me share this again and play it. Oh, oh, oh. So, could you make out what they were gesturing there? You couldn't make it out. All right, you guys need to
I
study
couldn't. There was
the
too much
lyrics
delay.
The video was choppy.
Oh, the video was choppy. Oh, darn
Yeah,
it.
it was
All
not.
right.
It was not. Yeah, it was not together.
The sound was great, but the video was very choppy.
Okay. Well, anyway, I shared the link with you, didn't I? I thought I did. Looks, but I'm not seeing it. All right. Well, take that as a homework assignment to look at that video and study it and get familiar. Get to the point where that makes sense to you.
Suggestion on that song
Yeah.
that we run the words, that we simply take some time and go through the text. It sounds like it might be quite repetitive and therefore not so many words, but I'm wondering, it looks challenging.
Well, we went through it in Washington, and we did just fine. It is the text in the it corresponds to the refrain in verse 1 in your score.
Mhm.
So sorry. I mean, give it a try. It doesn't make sense to me, my mind, to sing music you don't know what it means. So I think it's a good exercise for you.
Mhm.
Steve, anything else you can think of that we should go through now?
No, I mean the thing, what we didn't get to, over the weekend, was reviewing Blažen Mužin and Blagoslovi,
Right.
and we were going to go back to doing slow part work on the close harmonies on They Can't Take That Away From Me,
Right. Mm-hmm.
which I can't do without my piano getting picked up, and also
Right.
Zirvalaci Hortavina,
Mm-hmm.
same deal.
Yeah.
So I do have there are individual tracks of the four parts
There
for the
are.
Gershwin, which people can study on their own. And hopefully by next week I'll try to have this figured out. Maybe it's a microphone setting, although I don't think that would. I mean, I didn't change the setting on the microphone. I don't know what's going on with the new laptop. And with the Zirvalasya, I could make I could make tracks of the individual parts going through for people to review, especially people for whom it's new.
Zirvalasya Hurtavina, there already are tracks uploaded,
Are
so
there
you
of
don't
the
need to do
individual
that.
parts? Oh, that's
There
great.
are.
Are they? Do they? Is somebody singing the text, or are they MIDI parts?
It's
They're synthesized
synthesized with
from.
human voice,
Yeah.
so it's all that kind of thing.
So
And there and
it's from the score, from the computer generated score. Yeah.
correct.
Well, that's better. That's better than
That
nothing.
is
Still.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that's enough because that's still very useful. So I'm not sure what's
And there are
going to be
links
most.
to.
Go
No,
ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I'm not sure what's going to be most useful for people on the call. Um, if they want to hear, I mean, the synthesized MP3 of the new Lila is quite slow, and it's even got the quarter tone thirds. If people want to hear that, um, I think I sent that to you and Ray, Lewis.
Yeah.
Uh, although
You
maybe.
know what I'm thinking. Here's my thinking, Steve. Let's give people their time back, but encourage them to listen to those recordings of our rehearsals in Washington for any of the songs that they're not they're clear about, including Odoia. We spent a half hour going through that. I
Yeah,
think it would be helpful for people to listen.
Odoia and Gorani was a fruitful rehearsal
That's in there.
also.
Yep, that's in there. Lile, yeah, we got most of them recorded. Okay.
Yeah, and
Any, yeah.
maybe also on Glossum Maim, just to remind both tenor sections to take a look at the opening, because over the years there's always been confusion about who's high and who's low, having nothing to do with the legalization of cannabis products. And when they're legal, and the difference between Activa and the other one. So the fear of the conductor is always that you start and nobody's got the third covered. you know
Louis, how have you posted the Washington weekend rehearsals? How will people be identifying them by the date and time of the session or by the song?
All right. So two things. So are you asking about the scores, or are you asking about the rehearsal recordings?
The rehearsal recordings.
Yeah. So in the so I shared around that file that's got all the links. I will share that again when all the links are complete. And I added those links in the study folders. Each one has a folder of YouTube videos. And if you look in in each appropriate YouTube video, you'll find now a link to that recording, that rehearsal recording. Okay.
But is it identified by date and time, like Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, or is it? The reason I'm mentioning it is because for the people who weren't there, the Sunday afternoon session is when we did a lot of the new Armenian and Georgian stuff, and those rehearsals were very valuable.
They are identified by date. Very good point. So let's actually take a moment to take a bit of a tour here. So actually, let me just a sec. Let me no, that's not the one that I want to show. All right. Well, this will get me where I need to go. Just bear with me a sec. 25 Armenia Summer Tour. Here we go. Repertoire. Tour study materials. So let's take, for example, one of them, Gorani. If you look in here, YouTube videos, and if you look in here, oh, I haven't posted this one yet because it's not uploaded yet. Let me find one that's been uploaded. And YouTube, Zoom, stop interfering with me here. I'll pick a different one. Let's say, for example, Surb. I know I'm pretty sure that is posted. Right. So in this Surb folder, you see a Surb YouTube recordings, and all right, I apologize. It looks like I haven't updated all of these yet. It's still a work in progress, but these YouTube recording files will include links to the recordings, and you can find there the stuff that you're looking for. If I now, let's see.
If you go to the chat where you posted that that St. John's recording .docx, that has some good links in it.
Yeah.
But
Those
Louis,
are the links.
Louis, it's a ton.
Help people get to those.
It's a ton of work for you to tease out the individual songs. Don't you want to just post, morning, after, Friday evening, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon?
It's already done, Steve. So, for example, here this Gorani rehearsal. Here is the link to the video, and this was on March 9th. So the date is there.
Huh. Wow. Okay.
This is for the video that I've been able to get a hold of. We weren't able to record all of it, but we did record a lot of it, and so it's all up there. And I'll make sure that you have multiple ways to get to it.
Okay.
That's great. Thank you.
All right.
Well,
You're
great.
welcome. Anything else? All right. So if there's nothing else, then we will break here. Look for another email from me later this weekend when everything has been uploaded from the Washington rehearsals. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, let us know. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
everybody.
So,
Thanks.
Yeah. And welcome, Mark.
all right. So for next week,
Yeah, welcome, Mark.
yeah, welcome. Unless Steve or Ray, you have other things to do, I'd like to dig into the Armenian some more next week. Is that okay with you?
Yep.
Sure.
All right. Very
Okay.
good. Okay. See you next week. All right.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.